Good evening to you, fantastic beasts. This is Allie Hufflepuff Pom Pom Ross, back with Mix Alycorn's Whoa There, Daily Tarot. If you drink enough coffee, that happens to anything you touch. Mix Alycorn's Daily Tarot for November the 19th is the day that it is. I had a birthday over the weekend, and it was magnificent. And I did a great big long 12-card tarot spread, which I may talk more about at some point. But for now, I'm just going to share one highlight before launching into our regularly scheduled 3-card program. One thing that stood out was in the slot in this spread that was meant to indicate what was going to really be the card that defined my aspirations for the coming year. I pulled the Page of Cups, and that made me really happy. I have interestingly gone through really distinct periods with specific cards since I started reading tarot more as a daily practice. The first period I found myself in was the Tower period that ultimately led to my resigning from my previous job. And then there was a little death period for grieving that transition, and then from there I went into a Fool period, and that was awesome. And I think that it's starting to draw to a close now because I've officially signed an offer letter for a new job. I'm going to start work as a children's librarian this coming week. I'm overjoyed. I just absolutely cannot wait. And I think that means that the time, the period of being the Fool in between old plans and new plans is coming to a close. And the Page of Cups has been coming up a lot during my Fool phase as well. And they came up as what's going to be the defining card of this next year, and that delights me, because a fear that I had about taking on a new job, going back to a more planned way of living, which in a lot of ways is my comfort zone, was I was worried that the creativity that I've been experiencing and just the joy of making things and the time to make things that I've had in my break from employment, I've been afraid of losing that as I moved on from this Fool phase. And the Page of Cups seems like a lovely thing to shift to from the Fool, because the Page of Cups is all about being new at creating, which I am, despite having wanted to make things and made some things on an ongoing basis for a long time. Building a lifestyle that lets me honor my intuition and make things on a daily basis, and let creativity and the feelings I trust be the center of my life. Those are all really Page of Cups things to be learning how to do, and I'm new at it. So I'm delighted by the message that that's the theme I get to embrace next. With that said, today I woke up and did a much less epic spread, just my daily situation obstacle advice spread. Today for situation I pulled the Knight of Cups, which felt accusatory, frankly, because the Knight of Cups is also where it was indicated that I was being asked to soften when I did my full moon spread last week. So we'll talk. Obstacle was the Queen of Cups, which also we're gonna have to talk about because normally the Queen of Cups is really a facilitator, not an obstacle to me. I'm not sure this case is any different, but we'll talk about what she means in this context. And finally, the advice I received was really beautiful and was the Ten of Cups. So Knight of Cups is it's interesting because they sit right next to the page there in the Court of Cups. But they're so different. I think of the Knight of Cups as being almost like the overbearing older sibling of the Page of Cups. The Page is bright-eyed and new and not worried about like embracing novicehood and getting their feet wet in a few different things and being really open to learning from others. And the Knight of Cups tends to run on just glamorous romantic energy and to maybe not as much accept sage advice the way that the Page of Cups might be open to that kind of wisdom. Sometimes the Knight of Cups is someone that I'm called to emulate more, probably because I have a tendency to doubt myself, but of late I've been called to back off a little, and so having him come up as a situation today was interesting, and I think was an important reminder that I woke up kind of having a tough day today and feeling like I had already not done enough all day because I slept in and started my day later than planned, and that felt like the end of the world. I think that's probably a Knight of Cups kind of a diva take on a morning. I have not had my coffee and I have not begun the work that is my calling before the break of dawn, and therefore I'm ruined. Maybe I'll just lie down in despair now, like Howl in Howl's Moving Castle, when he just melts because he's fallen into a depression and then melts even more because he doesn't like how he looks when he's melting. I think that's where the Knight of Cups was calling me out this morning. The Queen of Cups, I think when we're looking at a situation in the way that I just read the Knight of Cups, I think that that's an indication that the obstacle is the thing that's keeping you in that state that's not ideal. And it's strange to me that the Queen of Cups would be that, because usually for me she's a way out of things that are not ideal. But I reread my beloved Michelle T's description of the Queen of Cups in Modern Tarot and was reminded that one of the Queen of Cups things, besides the fact that she deals in intuition, compassion, wearing her eccentricities on her sleeve and being really okay with that because she's the queen of feelings, so why wouldn't she? She's also partly in this world here and partly somewhere else, which I think a lot of us feel that way sometimes. I feel that way a lot of the time, and that can certainly make it hard to know how to reconcile the two places we dwell. The Queen of Cups is also very involved in dreams, and part of the reason this morning was tough is that dreams last night were tough. And so I think what's going on here is that I'm being alerted that sometimes the things that I know and intuit, while it's a great ability to be able to intuit and know those things, sometimes they overwhelm me, and I respond by going to a place that isn't productive. And I think that's what was happening today. The advice I got was really lovely. The Ten of Cups is a call to enjoy where you are, and particularly to savor the home you've built. And I have built a really good home with my partner, and even though he can't be around full time yet, as of now, with my long distance partner and with the 4 cats who make up our little lion pride, and with the friends and chosen family that flow beautifully in and out of our home. It's a good thing. It's a really good thing. It's in a really good place right now. We had a birthday party in that home this weekend, and it was just such a wonderful celebration of community and all of the wonderful people that we have and all of the resources that we have to welcome them and bring them together. And the Ten of Cups calls you to bask in those wonderful moments of your home being lovely. And so I worked today to take some comfort that way and to use that to break free a little from the creative distress that I was in when the day started. And I think that worked, honestly. I ended up having just a good afternoon of being in the home I made and doing the best I could. And I think there's a lot to be said for that. I hope that wherever you are and whatever you're up to tonight, you have a warm place that feels like home to do your thing in. And as always, thank you for tuning in. I will see you right back here tomorrow. Night, magical creatures.